Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Robin and I like to read and also do a lot of other cozy hobbies. So yeah, without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and hop into this video. Okay, first off, let me tell you guys Happy New Year. I know I am very late. By the time this video goes up, it is the end of January, but I have a good reason. I was supposed to start a video at the beginning of the year, but I was sick. I have been sick since December 27th. I got sick literally a day or two after Christmas, and it went all the way into the new year. I had a sinus infection. I had a stomach virus. Then I had another sinus infection that then turned into an upper respiratory infection. I had a lot going on, so your girl is not filming. But I did manage to read some books already in January, and I will share that with you. But first, we're going to start off what I read in December. If you watched the last video, I did tell you guys my hopefuls for December of 2025, and I did manage to read all of them, and I want to share them with you. So we're going to first start off with the first book I read in the month of December, which was Glow of the Everflame by Penn Cole. The second book in the Kindred Curse saga, and this is what it's looking like. I can't tell you guys too much without giving it away, but we're following a girl named Diem Bellator, and she basically loses, well, she doesn't lose, but her mom ends up disappearing, and she's trying to figure out, where did my mother go? Mother has been keeping secrets from her. She has this flame root type thing that she has to take, and it's suppressing something inside of her. So once her mom disappears, she's trying to figure out, she doesn't try to figure out, but she stops taking it. When she stops taking it, things start happening to her, and the whole thing just starts unraveling. She starts finding out things about herself. She is trying to basically go against these gods that kind of rule their realms, their world, that kind of just took over. And because they have so much power, they just kind of run the cities, and they just be like, this is what y'all are going to do. And yeah. That is the short way to say that, if that even made sense. I'm kind of stumbling. It's been a while since I've been here, since I've done this. I'm do I even know how to explain books? But yeah, so this is the second book in this saga, and I gave this a 4.5 stars. The first book is Spark of the Everflame, and I really like that book too. I also believe I gave that book 4.5 stars. All I can say is that I liked it. There was a lot more action going on in book 2 than book 1, and I'm here for the action. And then the tension between Diem and, what is his name? Luther, because we love us some Luther. But Diem and Luther, that's kind of, I guess, her love interest, if you want to say. There's a lot that happens with them too. It's this whole push and pull, and there are some parts that are kind of agitating in this book by Diem. Diem can be kind of agitating, because you're like, girl, are you being stupid? What is going on? But she's not super agitating that I wanted to put the book down. I'm just you're young, you're stupid, you're under a lot of stress, and you're making stupid decisions. But all be all, I'm going to tell you, I feel like Luther is what kept me into this book. And I still think that it is still a very good read. And that's why I gave it a 4.5 stars. It's not a 5-star for me, but it was a 4.5 because the writing is still very beautiful. The plot of the story is amazing. It's just that, yeah, the FMC, she can be annoying sometimes. And she's definitely more annoying in book 2 than she was in book 1 to me. But yes, love this book, 4.5 stars. That was the first book I read in the month of December of 2025. Next up, we read Your Knife, My Heart by K.M. Moranova. And that is what this looks like. I have the pretty sprayed edges. This is a dark military type of romance. So please check trigger warnings. I gave this book a 4.5 stars. K.M. Moranova, that woman she knows how to write her military romances. I don't know. Like, you would think after reading a few of them, like, they would maybe kind of sound alike, but they don't. They give different vibes, different feelings. This is, I think, a part of like a duet. I did read the second book, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But this basically follows Cameron and our girl Emery, and their love story is just a beautiful disaster. The trauma that they go through and how they're being used and abused by people that they want their approval from. And it's sad. It's a sad but beautiful love story, how they came together in this like underground dark forces situation. This is also kind of like, it's set in the same world as Leave Me Behind by K.M. Moranova, with the whole underground dark forces situation, military, government, like having this secret force that they kind of use these people, and they kind of make them into killing machines. But this was just so beautiful. I gave it a 4.5 stars. Like I said, we're following Cameron and Emery, and basically Emery's family kind of sets her up to basically end up into this force. And there's like this drug that's going on that's being used, and they basically, her family wants their hands on it, so they kind of use her, and she doesn't even know that she's a part of this whole chaotic plan. And with Cameron, he's just had a rough life since he was a kid. And he had some pretty crappy things that have happened to him. And that's how he ends up there. And he is kind of the main person that is taking this said drug that the government has kind of come up with. And it does some pretty messed up things with him. And he always ends up killing his partners. And who becomes his partner? Our girl Emery. And honestly, he falls in love. And that kind of how it goes. Hopefully that wasn't too much of a spoiler. But yes, if you like dark romance and you want to try something a little different, if you've never read a dark military type romance, I definitely think K.M. Moranova is a good place to start. I would definitely start with Leave Me Behind, which is like a part of the series. But I definitely think that her duet, Your Knife, My Heart, and My Blade, Your Back, is probably better than Leave Me Behind. But Leave Me Behind is also still just a very good place to start, to just kind of get a little bit more familiar with what's kind of going on with this Dark Force team, and then jump into these, and they're amazing. So I gave this a 4.5 stars. Next up, we'll go ahead and talk about My Blade, Your Back, which is the second book in this little duology, duet, whatever you want to call it. I also rated this 4.5 stars. I don't know what else I can say. Just that they were great. They gave what they gave, and I didn't complain. Like, it was good. I really can't say too much about this, because this just will give everything away. Just know, if you read the first one, go ahead and quickly pick up the second one. It's actually turned out so much better that I read them back to back, because sometimes I don't always read my books back to back. I'll read the first one, and then I'll read a book in between, and then I'll pick up maybe the next one, or I'll wait a couple months and then pick up the second one. But I actually read these back to back because they're quick reads. They're not very long. And because the plot was just a going and a rolling, and then like the connection between Cameron and Emery was just beautiful. I will say my favorite part, and this is a little bit of a spoiler, but he braids her hair. And that's all I gotta say. I don't know what that says about me. I don't know what that means, but I love it. I was just like, oh, that's so sweet. Like, just beautiful. And yeah, so if you pick up the first book, you might as well just go ahead and pick up the second book and read that. But I gave both of them 4.5 stars. Those were the second and third book I read in the month of December of 2025. Next up, I read Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. And you guys, I was super shocked. You won't believe what I rated this book. I gave this book a 5 stars. A holiday romance, I gave 5 stars. This is the very first holiday romance I have ever read. I typically, well, honestly, I'm still very new to reading as an adult. So when I had started reading in 2024, I started at the end of the year. I started reading my very first book in October of 2024. So, like, my thought was not even thinking to pick up a Christmas book when I first started reading. I was still trying to figure out what I even like to read. So I didn't get any Christmas books or any other holiday books for that matter. So this was my first one for 2025 and my only one. And I ate this up. I don't know what it was, but it was everything opposite of what I thought it was going to be. And for some reason, I ate it up. So this is kind of like a Ghost of Christmas Past situation, but nothing like that at the same time. So we are dealing with a ghost, but who is helping who in this book? That's how you really have to go in thinking about it, is who is helping who? Is the ghost helping her because he is the ghost? Or is she helping him? Like, who knows? But this was so beautifully done that, like, I just ate this up. So I gave this a 5 stars. This was my only 5-star of December. But I loved this book. I was giggling. I was kicking my feet. I was smiling. I was laughing. I did listen to the audiobook. I do think that you should listen to the audiobook if you read this, or if you read it this Christmas of this year when December comes around. Definitely check out the audiobook because the audiobook does this justice. It was just chef's kiss. Loved it. I think that this is supposed to be kind of like an interconnected series or so. So there will be another book. I don't know the name of it, but I think it comes out in September, and it's kind of a part of the series. So I definitely probably will pick that up. But this is really good by her. This is actually the first book that I've ever read by this author, and now I'm kind of interested in reading some of her other books. I think she wrote the book First Time Caller, if I'm not mistaken, and I've heard really great things about it. So eventually I will hopefully get my hands on that book. And I also know that she has like another Christmas like one that she's written before, so I might have to check that out. But love this book, ate it up, 5 stars. Now we're gonna get into the portion of talking about my January reads. This is gonna be a little bit different, but I am including it into this video. So if you're here still, kudos to you. You my people if you're still here in the video. So anyway, January, even though I was sick for the first week, but I was actually feeling better enough to read. I no longer had a fever, so I could actually pick up a book. I wasn't that weak to pick up a book. So the first book that I read in the new year was Night Weaver by R.M. Gray, and that is what this book looks like. Isn't it so beautiful? So, so beautiful. And actually, like, this book is beautiful. Like, look at that. We love it. But anyway, this is a YA book. I decided to switch it up. I don't typically read a lot of YA. I only read one YA book last year, and I want to try and read just a few more. I don't really think YA is just or maybe I just haven't read the right ones. I don't think that they're like super duper duper my jam, but I still want to read them because they still have some very good writing. I will be looking at my phone because I do not remember what I rated this book. So I'm going to look it up really quick. I gave this book 3.5 stars, which is still a very good rating. Not my favorite book, but the writing. R.M. Gray has beautiful writing. I felt like her writing was a little bit like poetic. And that made me, I think, enjoy the book a lot more. I will say there's parts that I was a little bit confused on. But overall, I think the plot is good. I do think that the second book will probably get much better. But I do think that this is still a very good, beautiful book. So, this is kind of like, we're dealing with pirates. But we kind of aren't. So basically the main character, which this is how I'm going to tell you. Actually, let me just read this. It says, you say pirates like it's an insult. 600 years ago, Nightweavers cursed beings with unchecked power, claimed the continents for their own. The ocean was meant to be a safe haven for humanity, including 17-year-old Aster Auburn and her pirate family. But after Aster's brother is killed in an epic battle at sea against Nightweavers, Aster and her family are thrusted into a new life on land. When a handsome Nightweaver named Will offers the Osborns protection and work at his estate, Aster is suspicious as the arrogant and entitled right hand to the wicked prince, Will, is everything that she has been taught to hate. But as he shows empathy and kindness, Aster can't ignore the blooming attraction. And even more, Will opens her eyes to new reality. There are monsters worse than Nightweavers, monsters who may be behind her brother's death. As Aster hunts the creatures responsible, dark secrets threaten to unravel everything she once believed about her family, herself, and her world. So, yeah, that's that. This was a beautiful book. I want to continue it. I will be continuing it. It was interesting enough that I was like, yeah. So I did rate this 3.5 stars. I do feel like some things maybe could have been like a little bit explained a little bit more. But overall, I like the characters. I like where the story was going. It was good. But one thing I will say, and it's a little bit contrary, I wish I would have had more of the pirate part. I just wish like the piratey part was a little bit longer, because we kind of just jump in and it's like, it's kind of it's a quick pace. It's not a bad pace, but I wish I would have got to see a little bit more of the pirate part of the story. So we'll see what happens. But either way, love the book, 3.5 stars. Can't wait to read the next book in the series, which is already out. And I believe the third book of this trilogy, because I believe it's a trilogy, will also be out later sometime this year. Next up, I read Bride by Ali Hazelwood for the first time. And why did I wait so long to read Bride? I loved this book. I gave it 5 stars. I mean, why not? Like vampire, werewolf, oh my gosh. Forbidden love, oh my gosh. And just the banter, like, this was just great. Ali Hazelwood did her thing, as she does. I've only ever read one other book by her, and hopefully, I don't know if I'll read all of her backlog, but eventually I will read some more books by her. But I ate this book up. I don't know if it was just right timing or what, but I loved this book. So we are following Misery, which she's the vampire, and what is his name? Lo is the alpha, and obviously they have an arranged marriage. She is basically trying to, they're both trying to basically settle their feud with each other's like people. So they're trying to create like a treaty in a way of being like, hey, we all can come together and find some common ground. We don't need to be fighting each other. The vampires don't need to be fighting the wolves. And the wolves don't need to be fighting the vampires. And we don't need to be fighting the humans. Like, we all just need to chill the heck out and come together and all live amongst each other. So that is the reason for their marriage. But her father, Dearest, has other plans. And, oh, it's just a beautiful story. And I would recommend this to anyone. This is a good little paranormal romance, and it just gave what it needed to give. 5 stars. Allie Hazelwood did her thing. It's her typical style of writing, the cool banter, like everything. Everything was working. That was amazing. Now, this is a little different because I have not finished this book yet. But because I'm reading it in the month of January, I'm including it. I am reading the 3rd book in the Edge of Darkness trilogy by Lee Rivers. It is called Restitution, and it looks like this. As you can see, I have my bookmark right here. So I can't give you a rating on it because I have not finished it yet. And I will probably include this in next month's reading wrap-up or in my what I plan to read if I figure out what I'm reading in the month of February. But yeah, so I am currently reading this. I will say, so far, so good. Because if you guys saw what I thought about book 2, I was not very happy about book 2. I think I rated that like 3 stars because it was just like, it was good, but it wasn't nothing what I thought. I rated the first book, I think 4.5 stars. I liked the first book way more than the second book. I almost was kind of like, that's what kind of took me a while to pick up the 3rd book because I was just like, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. Because y'all tripping. Okay? I was very agitated with what was going on. The flashbacks were getting on my nerves by that point. I liked the flashbacks in the first book, but then it was like we were getting flashbacks again that was already kind of told in the first book. And then some of the smexy scenes were just like they were doing too much. It was a little bit kind of chaotic, but not in the good way of chaotic. But the 3rd book seems promising. I am on chapter 17. I just got there. And so far, so good. The first half of this book is good. Now, this is where we're getting to the action. This is like, the action is happening. With Casey. That is not her name. I basically tried to combine their names together. With Cade and Stacy. Not Casey. Cade and Stacy. What's going on and what happened from the last book, I can't really say because I'll just give it away. But just know that I am liking the 3rd book. Maybe the best out of all 3, but we'll see because we still got a long way to go and my mind could be changed. But so far so good. This definitely brought the series as a whole back up for me because I was kind of like, this series is just okay. Not my favorite, but this has definitely made me feel a little bit better about the series as a whole. So I will let you guys know probably in the next video. I'll throw this in, what I review this, what I rate this, and everything. So yeah, stay tuned for that. But that is literally all I have for you all. And obviously, you can also see behind me. I should have probably said this at the beginning. This is different now. I got a new bookshelf. So that is what's going on behind me. I finally got my hands on a Billy bookcase. Shout out to my husband. He surprised me. Took me to the bookstore and then detoured off to IKEA with me. I didn't know that's where we were going. I'm like, we're going the wrong way. Like, we're supposed to be going home after the bookstore. And he surprised me by taking me to IKEA. And I didn't even think that we were going to walk out with one. He was just like, we're gonna look around. And so I'm just like, okay, we're gonna look around at IKEA, whatever. Not knowing that he had planned to buy me a Billy bookcase. So hopefully sometime this year I will completely have IKEA bookcases from where I am to the other end of this room, and I will have my whole little dream library situation thing. So yeah, so this is my old shelf right here that you're seeing, and this is the new shelf. This shelf is from Target. I got this years ago, and it was full. I could not put any more books on it. I completely have filled it up. And like literally that week, I had put my last few books on there. And then by that weekend, he surprised me and got me my Billy bookcases, which I get why the Billy bookcases have so much hype, because I freaking love this shelf. And I'm like, I need the rest of them now because I have so much space. It's kind of empty. I really don't have a lot of books on this shelf. I know it kind of looks like it from the camera. Like it looks like this is filled right here. But I literally have books right here. And I have these two right here. That's my coloring book. One book here. And one book over there. And then like that's it. That's on this. But I still have like all these shelves that are like basically almost empty over here. These are just the books that I was just going through. But yeah, so it's gonna be changing in here. And it'll probably change again because like I said, this room is definitely not done. This is my little girly hobby cozy domain here. So on that side of the room that you guys cannot see is like my gaming area, which is a complete mess. I don't even have a desk, you guys. I have a table. My computer stuff is sitting on a table. So hopefully that will be changing this year. And it's a little junky over there. And then I'll have all my books on this side. And hopefully I'm hoping that I get a reading chair in here very soon as well. It's the plan for 2026. So y'all will be seeing a lot of changes as time goes on this year in this particular room and how we got this whole setup. But yeah, so I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. I'm super excited to be back on YouTube, and hopefully I don't get sick anymore this year. I don't get sick very often, but when I do, it takes me down, and it takes me down bad. So I'm so glad to be back. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.